with a very interesting topic, environmental and occupational health, and particularly hazards, environmental and occupational hazards. In the present times, we are already struggling with the kind of a biological hazard. So, what are these environmental hazards? What are occupational hazards? And how we can overcome and minimize our risk to these hazards where they are present in various forms. So, how can we avoid them and how they have played an instrumental role towards, yeah, you can say, maintaining the health of an individual. So, to begin with, let us first of all have a kind of an idea about what is the difference between hazard and risk. So, these are very common terms you must have come across. So, hazard is something which can cause you harm, which can bring a deleterious effect on your health. So, if excessive heat is a hazard, some chemical is a hazard, or some you can say some happening in the nature that can be a hazardous situation, and that is why we call certain substances as hazardous substances. If they are taken in quantities above the permissible limit, if they are present in our bodies or in our ecosystems, they are considered to be hazardous, or that situation is called as hazard. It can cause some harm, and that harm may be short term or long term. So on the other hand, is risk is what? Risk is your you can say your probability of encountering that hazard. So what are the chances that you are prone to physical hazard or the chemical hazard? So risk may be high, you may be in a high risk factor, or you may in the low risk factor. So the cause or the effect of the hazard also depends upon the risk factors. So risk is the vulnerability. It depends on the level of exposure, it depends upon the quantity of the hazardous substances, it depends upon the age of the individual, it also depends upon the duration of the exposure. So all these factors, when combined together, they form the risk factor, and that is why we do the risk assessment. Whenever we are going for such kind of studies, we go for risk assessment to see that how risky it is for an individual to have in contact with any hazardous substances or situations. Now, when we talk about health hazards, particularly in today's times, what is a condition which is unfavorable for our health? So, health hazards can be grouped into environmental hazards and occupational hazards. Very less attention has been given on the occupational hazards because we focus all our attention now towards environmental hazards, means those hazards which are there because of the changes in the environment or because of the environmental conditions, because of the surroundings. So these are particularly referred to the climatic conditions. They constitute a part of the environmental hazards. Or in the present scenario, under anthropogenic conditions, we find that we have environmental hazards because of maybe environmental pollution. There may be environmental hazards because of increase in the natural disasters. There may be environmental hazards because of the chemicals which are there in soil, in food, in water. So they are the environmental hazards. But on the other hand, when we talk about the occupational hazards that are there because of certain occupations, a certain work, you can say workplaces, you can say. So we will be talking about these two type of hazards in detail. So environmental hazards, as I just mentioned, that environmental health hazards, not environmental hazards particularly on the ecosystems. So what we are focusing today is that environmental health hazards are hazards caused due to natural and anthropogenic changes in the environmental conditions and settings. So, whenever there are changes in the environmental settings, maybe because of the changes in the climate, there may be very harsh summers, there may be very chilly winters, there may be excessive rainfalls. So, do we call them as hazards? Yes, There are hazards because they cause health related consequences on human beings. They cause changes in the health, in the longevity of the individual. They affect the quality of life of the people, and therefore we call them as environmental health hazards because various attempts has been made in the past to link environment and human health. Environment is of course essential for our well-being. Environment is essential for maintaining the ecological processes, but so far directly no studies and no connection has been drawn between a suitable environment and human health. So how does, because it is vice versa, our health depends upon the good environment, and the good environment and the surroundings also affect our health. So both of them need to be in a healthy condition so as to have a kind of a balance. So what are these environmental hazards? So environmental hazards are basically falling into biological, physical and chemical factors. Broadly speaking, when we talk about the components of the environment, and when we talk about that what constitutes the hazards and what makes the sufferings of human beings, there may be physical, chemical and the biological factors which constitute the environmental hazards. So let us focus on these three one by one. Physical hazards relate to temperature, maybe high temperature, low temperature. It may be because of noise, it may be because of radiations, it may be because of vibrations, maybe excessive light or very less light. So, physical hazards are those conditions that threaten our physical safety, that affect our physical well being. For example, you know that whenever there is excess noise outside our surroundings, we feel noise stressed out, we feel noise fatigue, and it has a lot of effects on our physical and mental health also. So, that constitutes the physical hazards. And in today's times, when we have automated everything, there are growing concerns of the physical environmental hazards. The conditions, the physical changes in the environment which has occurred. Here we are not referring to the addition of pollutants or chemicals, but otherwise also, if you see, there has been lot of physically destructive elements in the environment which affect the health of the people. You very well know what are the effects of the mobile towers, the radiations emanating from different sources. What are the effects of the light? You see light in on the roads, on the hoardings, and when those lights are always there throughout the night, it does affect the visibility, concentration and other factors of the human well-being. So these are the physical hazards. Now, what constitutes the chemical hazards? You know that as an individual, we are exposed to chemicals every time. Whatever we are drinking, whatever we are eating, and what we are breathing is all chemicals in a majority of it. So these chemicals may be entering into our bodies directly, or they may be entering into our bodies indirectly through contaminated food, or through the chemicals which are there in our surroundings. We say that plastic and use of other harmful chemicals which we are maybe directly or indirectly we are consuming from morning till evening. So this exposure to chemicals may have a deleterious effect which may be short term or long term. So when we have allergy, when we have irritation, when we have burns on our skin, that is the short term effect of any chemical. But the long term effect of the chemical on your body may be losing your hair very often, maybe having skin problems, maybe having some problems with our metabolism, with the digestion, maybe some eyes problems. So that is because of the long term effect of the use of chemicals or the entry of chemicals or chemical hazards happening because of the surroundings and the other things. Now, biological hazards are there and they come with the contaminated food, maybe because of the different sources of contamination, the different allergens which are there. So, they may be vector-borne, they may be food-borne, they may be water-borne. So, they are caused due to organisms or the byproducts of the organisms. So, they are harmful to us. The pathogenic bacteria, viruses, they are a kind of poisons and they affect our well-being, and they also lead to other problems in the long run. So these are some of the most common environmental hazards, and you just look outside and you just think that what would it could be, and how does it as an individual it affects every one of us, because we all are there in the environment. So physical, chemical, and the biological factors always act upon us. So if we are in the vulnerable group, if we are in that age bracket, if our immunity levels are low, if we have the duration of the exposure to these chemicals or the physical elements or the biological factors as more, they tend to cause ill, to make us sick, and in the long run, they come as hazard. They may cause a long-term effect on our health, which may affect our productivity, which may affect our state of mind, and which also has an economic impact in the country like India, where people are poor. In our previous session we were discussing about universal health coverage and all. So when we are exposed to different types of physical, chemical, biological, and other hazards, it also has a toll on our economics of the people who are living in that area. So what I was referring to is that it affects as an individual. But now, when you link occupation and health, there has been a lot of things being said. Nowadays, we realize that not only as an individual, but the occupation to which we belong to, whatever the work we do, it has a direct bearing on our health, because it is said that one third of our life we are spending at our workplaces.
Full
So the
screen,
kind
madam.
of
Full
workplaces,
screen.
it,
Full screen.
it has an effect uh, on our health and our well-being. So about 45% of the world's population and 58% of the population over 10 years of the age belong to global workforce. So occupational health in the world and in the country is not just about the health of the people at the workplace, but it has a lot of scope. In that sense, it talks about the child labor, it talks about the legislation pertaining to occupational health, it talks about environmental pollution, it talks about the welfare of the women. So it is lot more. So it is very necessary in today's terms to link occupation with the health, and to explore that whether we are able to provide healthy conditions at the workplace. So it is a strategy not only to ensure, that is why I say it is not just maintaining safety and health at the workplace, but it is also linked to the productivity of the individuals, the quality of the services what they are providing, satisfaction of the job, and overall mental condition of an individual. So there are 4 P's of occupational health. One is promotion and maintenance, prevention, protection, placing, and maintenance. When we say promotion and maintenance, is that maintaining physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being of the individuals at the workplace, to ensure that all these elements of healthy living conditions are there at the workplace. Prevention means to provide them with all those safety procedures which are necessary so that they do not fall sick. In the industries, we find that we have to provide them with safety gears to ensure, and also to give them proper facilities so that there is less chances of their becoming ill. And in case if there are any accidents happening, there must be some mechanism of protecting them. So this is the third P of occupational health, which specifically relates to the protection of health of the employees at the workplace. And placing and maintenance means to see that good healthy conditions are given to the employees, not in terms of the benefits but also some kind of insurance, some kind of some mechanism to ensure that they are able to uh, also look after their own health, look after the health of their families. So this is not something which is related immediately to the employee, but also looking at the long term gains of uh, maintaining the health of the employees in any organization. So place these are the four P's of the occupational health which are very necessary, and they form the strong four pillars which will decide the state of the health of the employees pertaining to different occupations. There are, because in our country there are different occupations, and there are small scale, large scale, of the people working in the organized sectors, people working in the unorganized sectors. So to ensure their health and safety also, this is also very important. And we have to see that what are occupational diseases, means why we are talking about that. These are the diseases which are uh, uh, you can say which happen to an individual because of exposure to risk factors. So occupational diseases, for the traffic policeman it is different, for the farmer who is working in the field it is different. So there are certain diseases which happen to an individual. They may be communicable or the non-communicable diseases. We must understand that what is an occupational disease. Then occupational asthma is very common because it is the development of the asthma, because and it is very common in, we find in our textile industries, we silica industries, in fertilizer industries, in our agriculture, because of the inhalation of the harmful chemicals going into our bodies, it leads to asthma. It, because it is happening at the workplace, therefore we call it as the occupational asthma, which is very common. Now we have to see that how does occupational diseases differ in the rural as well as the urban sector. This is very interesting to know, because there cannot be one thumb rule, and we have to see that how occupational diseases further, what are the occupations which are there in the rural sector, and what is the state of the affairs of the diseases in the urban sector. So when we look in the urban rural sector, agriculture, 80% of the work in India directly or indirectly depends upon the agriculture and the allied sectors. So these are the occupations which are there in the rural sector. So what diseases are happening to the people over there? So according to International Labour Organization, 50% of the occupation fatalities are attributed because of agriculture. They may be physical, there may be some accidents, or there may be inhalation or the exposure to certain toxic chemicals like pesticides. So people are becoming more prone to illness who are there in the agriculture because of so many causative factors. So there may be, as it is mentioned, it may be musculoskeletal deformities, it may be the nervous system, respiratory diseases, or the skin diseases. So these are some of the common diseases, silicosis, or you can say farmer's lung, or you can say brown lung disease, biocinosis. These are some of the few which are notably known agricultural diseases happening to the people. However, on the other hand, the occupational diseases on the urban sector are different, because the nature of the work in the rural and the urban has a stark difference. So in the urban sector, the diseases, particularly, you know how our corporates and how our office work is being done, what kind of poor ventilated offices we have in our countries. So people there suffer most from the ergonomics. There people suffer most from the diseases pertaining to the pains in the joints, pains because of the improper postures, or because of the pollution occurring from the vehicular emissions and so on. So gastrointestinal issues, eye disorders, heart diseases, noise induced diseases, stress, mental illness, you can say. These are some of the occupational diseases in the urban sector. Now, first, now let us understand each one by one, that what are the categories of occupational diseases. First, we will talk about the agriculture in the allied sector, because that constitutes a major share of the workforce in our country. Then industrial sector, which also includes the different types of the industries in the mining, construction activities. These all come under the industries, and what kind of occupational diseases are very common in these sectors. Hospitals and healthcare. We are witnessing this thing in the present scenario, that what are the occupational diseases and occupational hazards in the healthcare industry, what are corporate and office hazards. So health hazards in agriculture, if we see, they are zoonotic diseases, because agriculture plays an interface between the human and the you can say the plants, and also you can say, when we talk about the livestock, also the animals. So agriculture not just comprises of the crops, but also has a component of livestock, aquaculture, forestry. So in all this, there are quite a few chances of human beings interacting with the biotic organisms, and because of this, there are chances that zoonotic diseases come in play, and the people who are working in these sectors, they get exposed, because you can say hay fever which has happened, and bronchitis which was there, and certain other types of zoonotic diseases are very common, and that have happened because of the agriculture. They come under the agricultural health hazards. Then there are accidents which occur, because in the rural areas, if you see, even the 8-year-old knows how to drive a tractor. So the people, the children, they are exposed to machinery, they're exposed to different equipments, and it may lead to that, it happens that different type of injuries happen to the workers who are working in the fields. Then they are exposed to toxic chemicals, pesticides. We very well know that modern agriculture relies too much on these inputs, which are categorically very dangerous. So a person or a farmer who is using these chemicals is also exposed in some way or the other. So there may be skin problems, there may be allergy of different kinds, there may be you can say other type of because of contaminants entering into the body, there may be severe to moderate kind of ailments in the farmers who are exposed to these chemicals. The physical hazards, we very well know that how difficult it is to work in the harsh summers, cold winters, and also during the extremes of weather the farmers are working. So it is there are instances of heat strokes taking place, because it is when it is excessively high temperatures, the farmers are working in the fields. It also has a negative influence on the health of the individuals, and respiratory diseases are very common because they inhale the chemicals, the different types of, we will be biocinosis. I just wanted to mention here that it's a very common disease which is caused because of inhalation of cotton fiber dust, particularly flax, or you can say because of hatch which is there, the jute. And in this, the fibers, they have a kind of a bacteria in it, and that is the main cause of it. So chronic cough happening to the farmers and progressively deterioration of the lungs of these people, it results in chronic bronchitis and emphysema. Bagasosis is another occupational disease which is caused by the inhalation of sugarcane dust. So there are many, but these are some of the important diseases linked to agriculture. And you must be knowing about the cases, the increasing cases of cancers in Punjab in certain regions. So there is a special train which is known as the cancer train, which runs from a village in Punjab to Rajasthan, where most of the patients are having cancer, and that is all because of the pesticides and contamination of the underground water and other components because of the excessive use of chemicals in agriculture. So it is kind of a, it is not just an environmental issue, but it is an occupational hazard, because the workers, they are they are constantly in exposure to these chemicals. Similarly, there is one disease which is called farmer's lung, and it is caused because of molds, inhalation of hay or grain dust. It has because of the when the moisture content is more than 30%. So here what happens is that the bacteria and the fungi grow very rapidly, and because of their growth, the heat is generated, and because of the generation of the heat, there is the excessive growth of Micropolyspora finis, and it is one of the main cause of the farmer's lung disease. And it is also there in several pockets of the Indian villages. We find this disease very common. So, not only the men, but nowadays what is happening is that because of males migrating to urban areas, their agricultural responsibility is falling on the women. So all these diseases are also happening to the women, and they are affecting the generations, not just an individual. So a proper because there is no mechanism in place, there is no mechanism to look, to explore that agriculture, because agriculture is related to health. Health affects agriculture, agriculture affects health, both influence each other. But never there has been any attention paid on these aspects, that how the life of the farmers is affected because of the diseases which are happening to them because they are doing agriculture. And this is particularly not true for agriculture, but for the other sectors also. We know how industries, what kind of conditions are there in the industries, how much of the heat is being generated, what kind of chemicals are being used. So there are not only the impact of the chemicals, we again put it here as the physical, chemical, biological, ergonomic, and psychosocial hazards associated with the industrial sector. So there are certain postures, when we talk about the agriculture, when the tea plucking is being done in the Assam, because of the changes in the posture, most of the time they are having problems in the wrist. Similarly, in the industrial sector also, the different industrial operations today, some are done by machinery, but there are many others which are still done manually. And because of the different requirements of the different job profiles in different industries, the workers suffer from musculoskeletal ailments also. There may be stress, strain in muscles, in arms, in legs, because of constantly standing, because of unique postures, because of extreme conditions of working, and different skin diseases also, which are very common in particularly glass and paint industry, fertilizer industry, paper industry. You name an industry and you find that there are occupational hazards associated with them. Similarly, if you look at the mining and construction related hazards, you can see very well under what conditions are the mining operations being done. There is very less light, there is odd working hours, there is exposure to chemicals, exposure to gases, very loud noise, chemicals are being released. And also there are biological elements, because it is very common at certain operations, because mining operations are done either underground or in the remote places on the top of the hills and so on. So biologically, factors also are quite disturbing, and ergonomic hazards because of constantly remaining awake, constantly driving, constantly doing some kind of a pulling or lifting, So therefore ergonomic hazards are very common, and psychosocial hazards because of the uh, excessive long working hours, because of social exclusion, because of you can say odd working hours also. There are psychosocial hazards which are never paid attention to, we never categorize, because what is the problem with occupational hazards is that they are set different from the primary health. We It is not integrated in the primary health. So that is why we have never given any sort of attention to the accidents which takes place in the mines, how they are peculiar to that particular occupation, how a person working in mines, how a person working in an industry, and how a person who works in the agricultural sector may face different kind of health issues. So such kind of exercise, because we do not have occupational health and safety mechanisms still in place in our country. Then I was talking about hospitals and healthcare. If you look at the work of a dentist, if you look at the work of a nursing staff, if you look at the doctor who is surgeon, you can very well see that how a person is exposed to physical, chemical, and ergonomic hazards during the course of his or her work in that particular hospital, you can say. So they are exposed to communicable diseases also. They may are exposed to different other ailments. They may have cuts, they may have burns, they may have issues, because most of the times if they are standing, attending the patients, lifting the patients, so they are also uh, have lot of issues with their postures, with their overall health. Mentally also there are issues, and in the present times we have read a lot about how the doctors, the nurses, and healthcare staff are struggling to cope up with this situation. So a person may not appear to be sick, but he or she may be facing these issues over a long period of time. And if such conditions prevail for more than 5 years, 10 years, definitely it has a because we don't have a proper health system in our different sectors. Similarly, corporate and office hazards, the conditions, we all work in the urban areas. How much time do we devote to our screen? How much time are we just sitting? What kind of work are we doing? What is the ergonomics of our office? Is there a proper ventilation? Is there a proper spacing? Is there a proper distance between the chair and the table and the phone that we are lifting from another place again and again? So here also we can see that there are um, a lot of scope of us, to be exposed to different types of hazards, also in the places, which appear to be very clean, which appear to be very hygienic, but also they may be having certain hazards related to them. So you know every hazard, for example, excessive light or very less light, exposure to chemicals, or the working hours, and apart from it, the mental stress, which we all have in our work life, that affects our immunity, that affects our productivity, and that affects our mental state of affairs also. So how do we manage these hazards? We need to first of all identify that it is something which needs attention, that is very very essential, that, and whether it is an environmental hazard or it is occupational hazard, we need to understand. Because what is the problem is that if you talk about the industries and other things, we do not know, we have not identified, we never considered light as an hazard. Do we consider? No. But light is an hazard. It intermittents with our sleep, it intermittents with our concentration. So first of all, we must know that we must identify the hazard. Not only the substances which are poisonous or cause cancers, they are hazardous, but the small simple mobile phone which we have, the towers which we have, the radiations coming from them, that is also a hazard. If I'm not sitting properly for the whole day, if I do not have proper length of the chair at my office, that is also an hazard to my health. So identification is very essential, uh, uh, according to the different sectors which we have broadly discussed. Analysis of the hazard, you have to evaluate, communicating, treating, monitoring, and record keeping. These are some of the basic steps by which the hazards, particularly the occupational hazards, can be managed. So what we mean by managing, so that we can address them. We must cater to the health of the people who are working in our organization. So for these are some of the basic steps people should, a kind of a policy must be there for occupational health of the people. It should be well communicated to all the employees. They must be aware of, and steps must always be taken to minimize the risk of that hazard. So we were referring to hazard and risk in our very first line. So we have to see that how we are able to minimize that risk so that we are less exposed to. In agriculture, the gardeners, they work in the gardens for a long time. They are exposed to resins and different saps of different plants which they cut, or the weed and they plant. But if they have proper, you can say, proper knowledge, and by the way they can reduce or minimize their risk, then it can play a very important role towards hazard management, monitoring and record keeping. So these are some of the simple steps by which hazard management can be done. Then we have the challenges. In why we face these challenges, because large proportion of the workforce, about 80% or more than that, the workers in our country, particularly in the rural sectors, they work in the unorganized sector. And unorganized sectors have no mechanism and have no understanding and nothing as such of occupational health. So it is very difficult, because if it is an unorganized sector, mostly organized sector has this provision of occupational health and safety. So when many are working in the unorganized sector, definitely that's a challenge. And there is no implementation even in the organized sector also. People are not aware, the rules are not framed properly, no implementation is take place. And why no implementation? Because there is no training, no, you can say, specialist or experts who can guide. There is, you can say, no budgetary allocation for the minimization of the occupational hazards, no training. So these type of things are non-existent, you can say. Although on papers we may have occupational health and safety division in industries and other workplaces, but practically speaking, they don't have any mechanism to see that what hazards are there, how can they be overcome. Money is not there, manpower is not there, and the labor is cheap. In our country we find that labor is very cheap. So when we have cheap labor available without giving any kind of health and safety mechanisms, why not? The people are already there, why should we spend money, time and energy in seeing that our employees are safe and sound and working in a healthy conditions? So there is no priority. Public health is always talking about the communicable diseases, malaria, dengue. Now we will be talking about COVID, or you will be at the most you can talk about the reproductive health and the maternal mortality and the infant mortality. Who talks about and who thinks about the occupational health and occupational diseases and hazards, and who considers it in the public health? It is not there. So we are talking, we don't even consider this as something which is a health issue. So these are some of the challenges which we must understand that uh, these are important issues, because they are linked, because every day we are going at our workplaces, pathetic condition of the people sitting in the offices which are poorly ventilated and no spacing and no other things are being seen. Similarly, in the industries, in the coal mining areas, the people are um, struggling to breathe, struggling, to work over there because of improper mechanisms. And most of the times, we are accidents taking place in the mines and other industries because of burns, because of cuts, because of acids, uh, several injuries which are not even reported. So it also happens because of, as it is written, that large number of unreported. Who reports that there is a breathing problem, or there is a cut in the finger, or there is a fracture in your limb because you were climbing, or a worker was climbing and lifting something which was very heavy, and so therefore this is some problem in the back. A lot of occupations, you see coolie how they are working, you see the people in the construction sector how they are working. We don't know, we don't care about their health in the long run. So nothing is reported. People don't have awareness, and there is apathy from the various stakeholders are the government stakeholders, maybe the um, for any the employer, the organization, and the people who are as a consumer, we can say, or depending upon the organization, there may be different stakeholders, but there is apathy and segregation, alienation of the because as I mentioned earlier also, it is set different from the primary health. It is not linked to that. So therefore, the budget and everything, because this comes under labor ministry. Occupational health is a part of the labor industry and not the we'll be talking about. So it is the budget related to health should come from the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, but most of the say is of the Ministry of the Labor. So there is a separation of the discipline in that sense, you can say. So therefore this is also one of the major constraint that, and there is only under the Ministry of Labor, there is only Factories Act, Mines Act, which were found way back in 1968 and so at those times the working conditions were very different as what they are today. So these are some of the issues which must be highlighted and which must be brought to the discussion so that we can ensure proper health of the people who are working. There is Institute of National Institute of Occupational Health, which was established in 1970, which has a headquarter in Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Kolkata, and it works. The thrust areas are environment and occupational epidemiology, toxicology, environmental health, women's health, safety. So this is one of the institute which works to see that occupational health and health hazards are minimized and to ensure the health of the people who are working in industries, factories, and other areas. So these are the references. Thank you so much. We can have discussion now.